Thanks for tuning in to another broadcast of CIO Talk Network, where we recap recent interviews with CIOs. We are your hosts, John and James, and let's get started. We had the opportunity of interviewing Tony Moore. He is CIO and warehouse manager at Engineered Specialty Products. Tony is originally from Marietta and is a fellow Kennesaw State alum as well as an employee. For 4 years, he worked as both admin specialist and surplus manager. After leaving the university, Tony joined ESP in 2014. When not working, Tony enjoys catching up on audiobooks, spending time with his girlfriend of 3 years, being a food connoisseur, and firing off his collection of rifles and handguns. We will now provide a quick overview of Engineered Specialty Products. Engineered Specialty Products, commonly referred to as ESP, is a manufacturer and wholesale distributor of pressure and temperature instruments. The company offers an economical product line under its PIC brand and also a premier brand known as Bordon. ESP has been in business for nearly 40 years and supports over 2,500 distributors across its 4,200 actively stocked SKUs. The company's value proposition is speed, availability, and service, and IT continues to improve the way the company does business and is able to deliver on these value props. With the company now being owned by private equity, there are a number of stakeholders involved in the decision-making process, including their internal leadership team, board members, and employees, which makes up the end users. When deciding between competing projects, the leadership team meets prior to the upcoming year to discuss performance, perform a SWOT analysis, and develop a strategic plan. It is here where projects are proposed and prioritized based on a cost-benefit analysis and overall business needs. The company views IT as a cost center as its leadership team does not perceive it as a core function of the business. This is evident when looking at budgetary plans and the very conservative amount allocated to IT improvements every single year. If there are any shifts in sales volume, IT is generally the first budget to be cut. There is also a very low tolerance when there are system outages and/or hardware issues. It can become very frustrating for the sales team to do their jobs and assist customers when core programs are inaccessible and important customer information is unavailable. As far as it relates to the partnership between IT and the rest of the business, things have historically worked in silos in which every department used different systems and programs and communication suffered as a result. With the use of SharePoint, Slack, instant messaging service, and company-wide CRM system, visibility and communication has drastically improved. One of Tony's primary responsibilities is keeping up with technological changes in which the company may benefit from. This is done by completing continuing education courses at least monthly, attending networking events to meet other technology leaders and providers, conducting daily and weekly research by way of simply using Google, attending IT conferences throughout the year. And in fact, Tony just returned from a 4-day conference in Orlando, Florida, hosted by FACS, which is their current enterprise resource planning system, before sitting down with us to conduct this interview. Here's a quick overview of the most common software used by the company. For database and data warehousing, the company uses MITS or MITS and iReporting. For email, the company uses Outlook. For ERP, the company uses M4 Fax. For CRM, the company uses a web-based CRM system by the name of Pipedrive. And recently, the company rolled out Power BI and iReporting combinations for analytics and reporting of data. And then also for document automation and order management software, the company recently started to use a program by the name of Esker. We also inquired about any uses for supply chain management software, and that is currently not being used, but is definitely on the horizon. For over the last 8 years, ESP has outsourced many of its IT functions to Genesys. Genesys provides a host of services such as managed IT, disaster recovery, network solutions, and also hardware installation and repair. They also decide on the brand of technology components the company will use. Many of ESP's employees use Lenovo ThinkPad laptops, while its leadership team and outside sales rep use Surface Pro 3 machines. Employees are not allowed to bring their own devices. The decision was typically based on performance, software, and service. Genesys provides prompt service, offers very competitive prices, has a very knowledgeable customer service support team, and often makes weekly service visits anytime an issue arrives at ESP. Prior to outsourcing everything to Genesys, the company worked with multiple vendors. Anytime an issue would arise, troubleshooting and service calls were challenging as there were crossover within the responsibilities of each vendor, and oftentimes confusion on who was responsible for what and who was capable of correcting the issues. We also inquired on if the company would ever look at bringing everything back in-house and terminating their agreement with Genesis. While Tony's response was yes, he also mentioned that after doing considerable cost comparisons, the savings were very marginal, and hiring the right person to manage responsibilities was not only expensive but very time consuming. As a result, they have all intentions of sticking with Genesis for years to come. Managers control internet usage and access. Websites such as Facebook, ESPN, and generally anything associated with sports are blocked due to security and productivity concerns. The company also offers VPN access so that employees working remotely have full access to locally hosted applications, documents, server, and all of its data. Mobile access has been a topic of discussion for a couple of years but is not highly prioritized. Currently, there are some programs which have mobile access such as Esker and Power BI, but its usage has been very low. One of the company's largest improvements has been the implementation of Latitude WMS in 2016. Prior to the large investment, there were severe drags on the company's ERP system Fax, as it simply was not capable of controlling all functions. Given its limited functionality, there were often issues with inventory variances requiring semi-annual physical inventory audits to reconcile inventory discrepancies. Since implementing WMS, warehouse employees have become more productive, and the company no longer has as many inventory variances as it did before the WMS system. Another large improvement was the automation of sales order processing by way of Esker. Prior to Esker, customer service reps manually entered orders while also responding to emails and taking inbound calls from customers. As you can imagine, this created a great risk for order entry errors as well as customer returns and customer dissatisfaction. Here's a quick video on how Esker works.
James are struggling with ways to improve organizational performance and customer experience. James understands that the ability to process orders faster and more accurately directly affects supply chain, and having visibility of orders across all channels is crucial to accurately plan and predict demand. As the supply chain evolves, it's clear the impact that order fulfillment has on customer experience and company growth. James is responsible for this complicated and vast department, and he needs the tools to ensure on-time delivery, efficiently manage orders and shipments, and improve the overall customer experience. So how can James gain the edge needed to stay ahead of the game? Esker's Sales Order Processing Automation. With Esker, email, fax, EDI, and online orders are electronically processed without manual data entry. CSRs are able to quickly validate and approve orders into an ERP system, reducing processing time by 80%, along with reducing the error entry rate. And the customizable reporting dashboard gives 100% visibility of the order-to-cash process. With Esker, James is now able to easily anticipate workload, quickly readjust scheduling for priority orders, identify issues, and quickly access archived orders, delivery notes, claims, and invoices. Now James is exceeding SLAs while maximizing efficiency and able to focus on his main goal of improving overall performance and customer satisfaction.
The last IT investment we wanted to mention involves the overhauling and upgrading of the company's very boring and static fixed web page design. ESP's vision was to create a website that was more engaging and showcased the company's full capabilities of being not only a distributor but also a local manufacturer of pressure instrumentation here in the United States. Here is how the website looked before the redesign. Over a span of 6 months, ESP worked with experienced website developers to redesign its landing page to have a more fluid and responsive design. Let's have a quick look. Getting these projects off the ground did not come without several challenges. First, getting company buy-in from not only leaders and owners, but also employees, as they were going to be the primary users of this technology, was critical. Secondly, receiving the necessary support from all third-party resources to ensure projects would stay on track was also a hurdle. Another large challenge was creating timely and appropriate post-follow-up processes, which required a great amount of time and resources to ensure training was provided to all employees, questions were answered, and that any service issues were communicated back to the vendor so that correction could be made and or system updates could be released. Measuring the key performance indicators was an ongoing process, not only before implementation, but after implementation of many of these new systems. Managers display KPIs and the narratives within their areas, highlighting top performers during their quarterly meetings offsite. As it pertains to the Latitude WMS system, some of the key metrics included time to ship, inventory accuracy, warehouse errors, and then customer PPMs. When examining the first automation of sales order processing, key metrics analyzed were order entry errors, cycle times for order entry, and then also adoption by the sales team. When looking at future IT priorities, for the balance of 2019, the company plans to roll out a customer portal which will allow their customers easy access to check inventory levels, confirm pricing, as well as to see new SKUs that might be available. This is in preparation for the larger task of rolling out an e-commerce website in which customers can purchase gauges and other instrumentation directly from the ESP website, which will be a project over the next 3 to 5 years. The company also this year would like to roll out an electronic document interface which will bridge a connection between their vendors, their suppliers, and also their customer systems for easier interchange and exchange of information. Last but not least, the company also would like to create an online part configurator where customers can build part numbers based on their custom specs and get pricing directly from the website as well as lead times so that they can be more informed on what projects will cost and can place orders in a more efficient manner. We would now like to take a few minutes to reflect on our interview with Tony. Tony has a very in-depth understanding of not only the company's current needs as it pertains to future technological improvements to be more competitive and profitable, but he also makes it a point to attend networking events and conferences to stay abreast of other opportunities to improve the future of technology at ESP. Based on our discussion, it would appear that Tony and ESP has made some wise decisions in some of the technology purchases. With the company having plans of expanding its capabilities to online ordering and e-commerce, it was very wise for the company to make investments in the company's infrastructure, including their warehouse management system, as well as redesigning their website. When it comes to collecting users' input for IT decisions, due to productivity concerns, they generally leave the sales team out of those discussions. However, they are generally brought in after the decisions are made. At this time, Tony feels that it will be best to have a few salespeople and users test out the new software before it's rolled out to the entire company. This rationale is that it gives some credible feedback from users that will be most impacted by the change, and that they can then use those same users as trainers and resources for other employees within the company. Looking at the future of ESP over the next 10 years, while we believe Tony is a good resource to lead a concerted effort in aligning technology and business strategy for future organizational success, we have larger concerns as to the support and position of the company. We do not believe the company offers a healthy budget to make the needed improvements in a timely manner. In the case of engineered specialty products, and quite frankly, any other company similar in nature, we came up with a very simple mission statement. Companies should provide their customers with a level of service they did not know ever existed by first empowering and rewarding their employees with the technology they need to change the world. Thanks for tuning in to our CIO interview. We hope that you enjoyed today's presentation. We will respond to any questions you may have by way of D2L discussion board. Once again, thanks for your time.